Okay, you ready? Alright folks, today we're going to talk about the get down rope. This is Pi. Chris let me use his horse. And our friend Jen makes these macates and get downs and tie down ropes over in Australia, and she'll ship them over here. So they're that really good cord, and they got enough rib in them where they'll bite. So if you have to tie something down, you can use it like for that. So what I do is I go through the bosalito, through the throat latch over the top and around. I know a lot of people tie it around the neck, but the reason I don't tie it just around the neck, I'll show you why. You tie it here, and what happens is it ends up down here throughout the day. So I like to keep it up closer where all my gear is. That's why I tie it up there. And that's a bowline. If you don't know a bowline, learn it. So, throat latch, through the headstall, over the other side, and the bowline. Now I've got something I can lead him with, because you don't lead a horse by ramal reins. It's not done. So this is how you would lead him. Now, if I'm roping, I can get out here in front and have my horse where I'm down on the ground or whatever I want to do, and I can cue my horse to stay back because it's been taught on the ground. Now, if you're not a Neanderthal and you've got some kind of feel, you can do this. I've done this before on horses that I'm trying to teach. And I want you to watch how much slack is in the rope all the time. So now I'm down here working and I need him to back up. I can back him up easier from here. Then I'll ask him to join me, and it's more centered. And of course with this hitting the bar, it's making the bit work to back him up. Now remember, that's a subtle thing. So on the ground, you know, we got 60 foot of rope, and this one's 13 foot of get down rope. So if I had to tie something down, something big, I simply I'm already set up for it. I can take a front leg or a hind leg and cross it on another leg, and I got enough room to split. Any way you want to do it, you can tie an animal down with this rope. Okay, if you make 2 half hitches, you can place them over the feet of anything, like the feet, pull the ends, and you've got a tie to get started with. Okay, for hobbles, you just simply double them. Now these horses have already been hobbled, because I know somebody's going to say that you got to hobble around the ankles. Well, when you're training a horse and teaching them to hobble, that's true, but after they figured out, you don't need to. This is not an all-day deal. This is a quick deal. In case you got to do something for whatever reason, you can make hobbles out of them. I've showed you this before, but if you get to a set of corrals that are dangerous, meaning spikes and nails and bed springs and everything else hanging out of the way, you can do your half hitches this way. Now you take your bridle off and you can work cattle in your bosal. It's all fair, you know, it's whatever the situation calls for. And I think we've been together long enough, everybody, that there's things that I don't cover because I didn't think of it or I didn't know it. And the beauty of the YouTube, what we do is some cowboy's going to send a note and say, well, you know what I do? And he does something amazing with it that I never thought of. Okay, so now back to riding with it. I like this nut as close up in the throat as I can get it. I don't want a big loop hanging down. So now you got two choices. You can stick it right behind your belt buckle. If you got a big gut like me, it'll stay there. Or you can, I'll show you, you can do it this way. And a lot of times, for whatever reason, if I'm in the corral, or I don't know, just sometimes I've done this. Just real quick. And I can adjust it pretty close because like working cattle, I can get it way up out of the way here. And it just, things happen in a corral when you're working with a lot of cattle. Okay. The other one, which puts you into the old school, tie a half hitch there, and when you need it, you simply pop that and there's your rope. And if I can get this done, through the gullet, half hitch. You can bring the tail out, or you can leave the tail in and just pull it through there. It's your choice. There's just a lot of things to do. So what I try to do, the reason we have them is that you don't lead a horse by the rawhide reins. The other reason is if a horse falls down and you go down and get clear of the saddle, you got this much time to grab your rope and stop your horse so you don't have to walk home. And if you run it out the left side, of course, it's not on your roping side, and it's going to stay out of your way when you're working. So I just have it here, and I like it about to my ankle, because this is also something else that can get hung up. So now it's set up in a perfect position where I can go about my business. It won't get in the way of my roping or anything else. And when I get off, I've still got two free hands to work a gate or do whatever it is I'm going to do because I got it in my belt. So, what did I forget?
You never want it so long that you got to get real creative with getting rid of it around your horn or through your breast collar or all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some people use a Puckett, which is 22 feet long. Go around the neck twice and several loops. It's dangerous. Keep it minimal.
I think most get downs are like 16 foot long, so that'd be...
Well, that's the thing. If you got a mammoth jack mule, you might need a 16-footer, but most of them that I've seen are 12, 6, or 13. And then a lot of these little Mexican horses are 14 hands. You only need a 10-foot get down. You know, so you got to match it to whatever you got. But just for the sake of knowing, Jen, our friend, she can make them any length you want. But that's the story on the get down rope, and that's what it's for. So you do not have to use these other than what they're made for. Oh, a lady sent an email about a thoroughbred horse she got, and it's off the track, of course. And I'm going to tell her that the best way to deal with a horse that's off the track, a thoroughbred, If you can stop him with a one-range stop, as soon as you've taught him to disengage his hindquarter, and you want to train him for whatever discipline you want, the only thing you can do, as far as I'm concerned, to prepare him, is to get outside the arena and trot out across the hills. If you lope, he will run. If you walk, he will look around and get in trouble. If you trot, he's got to pay some kind of attention to what he's doing. And when he finds out that he can trot on a loose rein, now you've got the brain of the horse. Anything other than that, you don't have his brain. So that's my opinion on thoroughbreds. You want me to elaborate on thoroughbreds. And it kind of goes for all horses, but I know the thoroughbreds I've rode, trotting outside out in the hills was the best training I ever did on them. Thank you.